I'm actually waiting for a particular package. It's gonna be so many cool things inside of it. I think you'll be amazed. Regardless, that's potentially for another video. The Rise of the Duelist set coming out this week is going to introduce some new strategy. And because of those new strategies, there should be some cards that you should have before it skyrockets in price. Now, it's a little noisy out here, so let me just invite you into my house. It'll be a lot better. Plus, it's less hot. So that is a lot better than being out in that hot sun. But I'm pretty sure you want to know about those cards that you should buy before they skyrocket in price. Ironically, the first card on this set comes from the 2017 Mega Tins, and it's a card you can't get in any other way. Elder Entity Intis, Elder Entity Intis, Elder Titty Intis, Old People Titties, ew. Elder Entity Intis is a level 4 fusion monster with 2500 attack and 1200 defense. I'm not even gonna lie to you, like you were thinking about old people titties. I actually looked to the side and realized that card had an enormous attack. I really don't care about any of those stats. We only care about one effect. The effect of, if it's sent to the graveyard, you can destroy a card on the field. Now, Elder Entity Intis will start to see play because of Dragmatica Maximus. Drag my balls! I apologize, we have to get dogmatically correct and say that this card will allow you to send cards like Elder Entity Intis to the graveyard to be able to destroy free cards on the side of the field. Now, even if you aren't a Dogmatica player, you probably still want to keep this card in your extra deck if you have the room, because if your opponent does summon Dogmatica Maximus to their side of the field, evading their card effect. Currently, Intis sits at a very low price of $4. Now, it has been steadily increasing over time, but I feel it will see a pretty big price bump once the Rise of the Duelist set comes out, and it will be a $10 card. Some players have not yet realized that even if you don't play the Dogmatica strategy, having an Elder Entity Intis or copies of Elder Entity Intis to be able to stop the Dogmatica strategy would be too strong. Now, speaking of good cards that work really good against the Dogmatica strategy, Cyber Dragon Nova is a card that you should definitely have before it is too late. This card effect reads, it allows you to detach one material to special summon a Cyber Dragon. Again, I'm still sure you're thinking about Elder Entity Titties, so we're just gonna skip to the juicy part of this card's effect. Now, the juicy part of Cyber Dragon Nova's effect is that when it is sent to the graveyard by your opponent's card effect, is that you can special summon a Machine Fusion monster from your extra deck to your side of the field. There are some really awesome Machine Fusion candidates, but the best monster is Invoke Mechaba. Mechaba giving you a free Omni Negation by discarding a monster spell or trap card, whichever is appropriate to which your card is activating. But the more important thing is that you get a free monster to your side of the field just for playing Dogmatica. Currently, Cyber Dragon Novas are sitting about $2 to $3 for the ultra rare. I think that this card can get really expensive, about $5 to $10, depending on how dominant Dogmaticas try to be inside of this meta. Fortunately enough, you came prepared because I hooked you up with some really good steals. Now, if there were ever a perfect time to pick up one of the most busted trap cards in the Yu-Gi-Oh card game, it would be now. And I urge you, you probably should have a playset of this for, you know, the future, because, yeah. Artifact Sanctum is a really powerful card. Literally, read this card text. Don't read the other two, just go off of what I told you, but read this card text. It allows you to special summon an artifact monster from your deck to your side of the field for free. And then if your opponent decides to destroy it, you can still special summon an artifact monster by chaining this card, but then since your opponent destroyed it, you get to destroy a card on their side of the field. Artifact Sanctum literally screams, I am one of the freest trap cards to ever exist in the Yu-Gi-Oh card game, especially considering how powerful artifact monsters are. You have artifact monsters that can completely prevent your opponent from playing from the extra deck. You have some other artifact monsters that prevent your opponent from banishing monsters. I think this would be the prime time or the perfect time to be able to pick up some Artifact Sanctums for the low before they skyrocket back up in price eventually, because that's just always what happens with this card. Currently, the cheapest Artifact Sanctums you can get are from the Battles of Legends Armageddon set, for about $2. I would actually shoot for the stars personally and get me some secret rare copies at about $8. But it is what it is. I can see Artifact Sanctums bouncing back, the Secret Rares going to $15 to $20, as well as the Ultra Rares holding value at about $10 each. This is a card that we should be investing for the long-term future, because as long as they don't print this card again, oh yeah, Sanctum's too strong. They'll eventually reprint this card again, but I mean, we won't care. We'll just buy them up again and wait. So I'm not going to lie to you. Sometimes I see cards and I'm like, this card is going to be really expensive, but I have no idea why. A lot of times when that happens, I'm still usually right, give or take, but I can tell you that Miracle Rupture is one of those cards where I look at it and I'm like, I have no current uses for you currently, but you seem like a really good card. What Miracle Rupture allows you to do is send one level 4 or lower rock monster from your deck to the graveyard. Then, if you have a Fossil Fusion in your graveyard, you can draw a card. So essentially, Miracle Rupture is a foolish burial for rock monsters, and then also an Upstart Goblin if you decide to play the Fossil Fusion card. Now, I'll be one of the first to admit that I'm not well versed on the Fossil strategy, but I know really good cards when I see it. A generic card that allows you to send generic cards from the deck to the graveyard. And then if you decide to play a potential brick card, which Fossil Fusion does remind me similarly to Invocation, so it might not be a brick, you can draw a card. Yeah, this seems like a really good card. Now, if you still may be a little skeptical about this card, out of an entire case, I think I have 5 copies of Miracle Rupture. Miracle Rupture is currently a $3.50 card. We're just gonna call it a 3 flat. I feel like this can be a $10 to $20 card, depending on the direction of rock monsters. Currently, Adamantipator is the only competitive rock deck, but who knows? Down the line in the future, Miracle Rupture might actually prove value. At the time of making this video, Tatsunoko sits at about $2 per copy. It is a strong candidate to buy these cards before it skyrockets in price, because we can obviously see the value. Tatsunoko allows you to synchro summon using monsters in your hand. That's busted. The only problem with Tatsunoko is that there was never a strategy that could consistently make the synchro monster with the extra deck space and take full advantage. We already know the best monsters or the best synchro monsters in the extra deck are level 8, and there hasn't been too many decks that play level 5 monsters. Incoming the Infernal Archetype, a deck that can now make Borreload Savage Dragon using Tatsunoko because it does have a way to make Synchro 3s. I think that Tatsunoko is an excellent buy, especially at such a low price, and can go all the way up to about a $10 to $15 card. If we're talking about the first edition copies, I don't know, I think that's a little harder to pinpoint, maybe 20, 25. It depends on how good Infernal Knights are. In all honesty, Tatsunoko did come out in the Clash of Rebellion set. This was when it was a lot harder to pull secret rares, so do with that information as you will. I know I'll be picking up some Tatsunokos, or have I already picked up some Tatsunokos? I feel like I've had those for a while. Huh. A card that screams buy me out before it skyrockets in price is Dragunity Knight Romulus from the Rising Rampage set. Now, not only are Dragunity monsters getting a structure deck in the near future, currently Dragunity Knight Romulus is a critical piece to dragon-based decks. And you already know what you can do with that information. Dragon decks are always and will always be a fan favorite type. Romulus allows you to add a Dragon Revenge from your deck to your hand, or a Dragunity Knight Speller Trap card. The current trend is to add Divine Lance from your deck to your hand, which will essentially allow you to special summon Phalanx to your side of the field. You can turn the Romulus into a Link Cross, and ta-da! You can stop yourself from being Nibirued without ever committing your dragon-based strategy cards. Now, Romulus is a key piece, but if I can remember correctly, it is a possibility that it will be reprinted in the 2020 Megatens. But Isolde, Two Tales of the Noble Knight, was also a card that I remember could have been reprinted in said Megatens, and it didn't happen. This is obviously one of those high-risk, high-reward type situations. If Romulus doesn't get that reprint, the card can be one of the most sought-after cards through 2021, especially with the structure deck coming out. If it does get that reprint, well, at least you would have original pack Dragunity Knight Romulus. Currently, Dragunity Knight Romulus sits at $4. I think that price is way too low. It needs to Romulus its way up to the top. Elder Entity Titty. Well, that is pretty much it for all of the cards that you should buy before they skyrocket in price. As your boy, I'm always hooking you up with that knowledge. Now, if you can do so in return and share this with a friend, probably I can meet some other friends to share this knowledge with, and hopefully we all have those cards before it is too late. Also, if you want some more of the Cali Effect advice, be sure to click on one of those videos. Click on it. As always, I hope you're having a great day, and I'll catch you on the next video.